Alright, it's time for another one of these Habs news update thingymajiggys, and in today's jiggy, look, I got so much shit to talk about right now that I don't even know where to begin. Some of the topics, demi-dav. This Xhekaj, that Xhekaj, maybe even a new Xhekaj that you probably didn't even know existed. Just kidding, I made that part up. But this video is brought to you by Miraj Trading, where you can now pre-order the brand new 2024-2025 Upper Deck SP Game Used Hobby Box. That's right. These bad boys are going to be released on April 23rd. There's a lot of pretty cool stuff you can find in these, and you can make sure you get yours today at MirajTrading.com. Now, first up, can we get some sad music going here or something? Because I'm about to get some of the sad stuff right out of the way. Veteran defenseman David Savard, he shaves his face every night before he goes to bed, and he wakes up the next morning looking like this. Well, he announced this week that he's going to be retiring from the NHL right after he wins the Stanley Cup with Montreal this year. Apparently, his body just doesn't feel the way that it used to, and I mean, it was definitely not an easy decision for David Savard and his family to make, but you know what? This guy's been such a positive vibe around the Habs locker room over the past few seasons. I really hope that Kent Hughes, Jeff Gordon, and that other guy that kind of looks like Jeff Gordon, but he's not Jeff Gordon, I hope these guys find some kind of a role for David Savard so he can stay around the team. But anyway, now that David Savard pretty much confirmed the end of his career, you better believe it, that's going to open up a brand new roster spot on the Canadiens blue line heading into next season. You see David Savard and Alexandre Carrier, these are the only two right-shot defensemen on the team right now, so I'm thinking, unless they go out and acquire somebody during the offseason, we might even see one of Reinbacher or Mayu possibly make that jump into the NHL next season. It all depends on camp. Now, speaking of these two lads, and speaking specifically about the Laval Rocket, their season finally came to an end last night with a big dub over the Smellville Senators. That's Florian Xhekaj, who ended the game in overtime. What a stone-cold celebration that was. And my God, this team, believe me when I say it, they've been playing balls to the walls all season long. It's time to give them some credit. If you look at the standings, they're the top team in the league. They're definitely going to be looking to make some noise in the playoffs. And ladies and gentlemen, if I could just quickly pinpoint a couple of players from this team that I've been extra proud of, I'd like to start off with none other than Cayden Primeau. Yes, that Cayden Primeau. You see, since being demoted, Primeau's been unbelievable. He's been rocking a .927 save percentage. He's got a goals against average of less than 2. And just when a lot of us thought his career was over, when you couldn't even get a gallon of horse piss for him on the trade market, he went down to Laval and he dug in deep, okay? It's a good story. So props to him. And if there's one more player that I want to put some attention on right now in Laval, it's him. It's him. Yes. It's Florian Xhekaj, who was drafted in round 4 by the Canadiens back in 2023. He just finished up his rookie season in Laval with 24 goals, 175 penalty minutes. He went from getting limited ice time most of this season on the fourth line to a point where they couldn't do that anymore, okay? Because he was just too good, okay? And it's kind of funny when you think about it, because there was an insane amount of Habs fans who were acting like they were professional scouts. They were claiming that he was a bad pick in round 4, but guess what? You could stick those little couch potato scouting reports right up your ass, because this kid, you better believe it, so far he's looking like a magnificent pick, a steal, and he's going to be on his way to the NHL one day. You never bet against a Xhekaj. But now let's move on to some NHL talk again. The Habs, of course, their first game of the playoffs is going to be tomorrow night in Washington. And I still know there's a lot of people out there that don't think they're going to be able to do a whole lot against this Capitals team. I mean, they do have a very experienced team over there, but let me tell you something. If somehow, some way, the Habs, they managed to take one of those first 2 games in Washington, it could get ugly for the Caps, okay? Just saying. I really like the Canadiens' first line. I really like the Dvorak, Anderson, and Gallagher line. But the biggest question mark of all for me heading into the playoffs is the second line, okay? And now with demi-dav inserted into the lineup, it just adds a whole new element. I know there's a lot of people saying that he's a wild card right now, and I gotta agree. Just based off of what I've seen so far from this young kid, I wouldn't be shocked at all if he's a huge factor in this series. I'm hoping for it. But the last topic that I want to talk about before the end of this video is it's a little bit of a controversial topic, okay? A lot of you probably aren't going to like it. You're not going to agree with me, and I mean, that's fine. Hey, we can't really agree on absolutely everything, but I think if there was one mistake that was made towards the end of the season, it's that when this team started losing during their last few games, they didn't toss one of my personal favorites, Arber Xhekaj, back into the lineup to let him get his feet wet a little bit, you know what I mean? They had quite a few perfect opportunities to shake things up a little bit, but they decided not to do it, which tells me that Xhekaj, he's probably not going to get into this lineup during the playoffs unless somebody goes down due to an injury. And here's where it gets interesting, because when you're going up against a team that's as top heavy as the Washington Capitals, yeah, I'm not so sure it's a great idea. And call me crazy, okay, but for the first 70-ish games of this season, I don't even know if I saw anybody hit Lane Hudson, and I'm being serious. I mean, I'm not trying to say it's all because of Arby, but you gotta admit, it's a strange coincidence that since he's been out of the lineup, Lane Hudson appears to be getting targeted every single night. And I mean, the Capitals, they're not stupid. They know he's the Habs' best defenseman. They're going to be all over this young man like a bunch of shit flies. And there's not going to be really anyone around to counter that problem. You know what I mean? This is playoff hockey. This is a whole different animal. You can't just expect one guy like Josh Anderson to police this entire series on his own. He could definitely use some help, and it's unfortunate because when Xhekaj's in the lineup, I mean, everybody looks a couple of inches taller and at least 20 pounds heavier. But instead, without this factor in the lineup during the playoffs, when the whistles get put away, there's going to be a reverse effect. Instead, everybody's going to be a couple of inches shorter and 20 pounds lighter. Just saying. But again, I mean, I'm not the coach. I'm just a guy that probably had a few too many wobbly pops last night. But I'm just going to throw it out there that this is exactly how I feel. This is exactly how important I think having a guy like Xhekaj could possibly be in the playoffs. It's definitely more of his brand of hockey. I mean, all the times throughout the regular season when you feel like, hitting him over the head with a pillow because he took a stupid penalty, all that is probably gone during the playoffs because they let these guys, they let them kill each other out there. But anyway, that's my one little rant at the end of the video. It's probably not going to go over too well, but don't be shocked in game number 1 if Hudson's got a target on his back immediately, okay? But that's going to do it. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Please don't forget to rip the nails right off of that like button before you leave here. And hey, go Habs, go, and I'll see you next time.